CloudTrade's rule system part 2, capture versus identification. Although CloudTrade has a lot of clever stuff going on around its capture element, ultimately capture is what it's all about. And capture doesn't just mean getting some piece of data out of a document, it means knowing what that data is. This is crucial because capturing 12335-7 from some part of a document has absolutely no value if you don't know what 12335-7 actually means. E.g., is it the invoice number, the order number, the account number, or the part number, or what? Capture, in the sense of just grabbing the data from a document, is relatively easy. Capture in the sense of identifying what that data is hard. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a suitable alternative to the word capture that separates the two meanings, which is why what we call it, what CloudTrade does, analytical capture. And the reason why this is difficult is because documents are produced for human beings to understand, not for computers to understand, which drops the problem straight into the realms of AI, artificial intelligence. And that's quite a difficult problem to solve. Approaches to solving AI problems fall into two categories: logic-based or non-logic-based. Logic-based is how most of computing works, i.e. great big number crunching machines with logic in them to sort out your airline tickets, pension payments, or whatever. Non-logic systems, typically deep learning or neural networks, are useful when it isn't easily possible to work out what the logical rules to a problem are, such as recognizing someone's face, or problems where the solution is open to interpretation. Some companies believe that document capture and analysis has become a non-logic problem, but we are not such a company. CloudTrade believes that capture and analysis is still fundamentally a logical problem, which can be solved by the correct application of logical rules, which is why CloudTrade has a rule system at its heart. This logic-based approach to AI was championed by one of the founders of AI, a guy called John McCarthy, the bloke who actually invented the term artificial intelligence, and also invented Lisp and did other clever things. He believed that machines did not need to simulate human thought, but should instead try to find the essence of abstract reasoning and problem solving, regardless of whether people use the same algorithms. Logic was also the focus of the work at Edinburgh University in Europe, which led to the development of Prologue. CloudTrade's rule system is written in Prologue. Although you don't have to be a Prologue programmer to write their rules, or any sort of programmer, CloudTrade's rule system is based on the fundamentals of logical programming. It really just means that if you want to be able to write rules using our rule system, you have to be able to think logically. Most people can manage that. Well, I'm sure we can all think of people who can't, but generally speaking, most people can. Broadly speaking, if you can think logically, you can write rules. Furthermore, our rule system promises you that if you can write down the logic about how to do it, you'll be able to tell the rule system how to do it for you. And do so easily, because we've built our rule system specifically for this particular task. Okay, we're almost ready to explain how this logical system works. Just want to introduce one more thing: rules context. You'll recall from the previous presentation that prior to rules running, Grammatica has pulled out from the input files those pages which are relevant to this one particular document, converted them into lines of text which we can access using our rule system, identified which set of rules should be used, and as Grammatica runs through them, it maintains a pointer or cursor onto these pages of text, starting at the top line of the first page. This defines the current position in the document, which is important because a rule will run from or given what that current position is. If you run the same rule when the position is in two different places, you'll end up doing two different things. That's the first part of rules context. And rules can read what's there and also move the current position somewhere else. They often do both. You'll also recall that the purpose of the rule system is to perform analytical capture. So you can think of the rule system as having an internal database which it is trying to fill in with relevant data from the document. Exactly what happens to all that data afterwards is the subject of further presentations, but broadly speaking, this is about identifying all the salient pieces of useful information that the end customer wants from a document. This data consists of name-value pairs, such as an invoice number. Sometimes they can be multiply defined, like a contact name, they can have more than one. And in the case of line items, they're indexed, like the description on the second line or the third line or what have you. This is the second part of what we call rules context, and the rules can examine and populate what's in that database and even change what's already there, although that tends to be rare. The rule system has a number of other facilities which you can call upon as it needs. On the right you will see there's they can actually use the Prologue engine for heavy logical work. There's a persistent database that's available. It has a human intervention system, which I'll talk a lot about more later, and you can even go off onto the internet to query external systems. Many of these facilities are programmable, although they're not generally bothered about the rules writers. Now onto the rules themselves.